Welcome to another episode of Keys to Success with myself, Gypsea. That's the biggest challenge, overcoming fear and actually going past the fear. Welcome to another episode of Keys to Success with myself, Gypsea. Today we have the in-demand duo behind Design 11 Co. You've probably seen some of their amazing work in the Gold Coast's most prestigious and dominant homes on the Gold Coast. This is Sonya and Jess from Design 11 Co. Welcome.
Thank you.
Just after we were talking about not being nervous and I do this great intro. I'm like, yeah, we're just having a casual chat. Well, I think you guys have done so well. Like we were just talking off camera, Jess, about staging and styling, and wasn't even really a thing when you guys got into the business.
No, we were probably one of the first on the Gold Coast to get started on it about 6 years ago now.
Crazy.
So yeah, it wasn't something agents did back then, really. It was probably a select few that knew it worked, probably who'd come from Melbourne and Sydney.
Yeah.
So we just really kicked off without any marketing and went for it.
So how did the whole thing come about? Like you two connecting and starting the business 6 years ago, what did that look like?
Well, I had, sorry, I have to laugh. I had the opportunity of meeting up with Jess because I had some tile samples from Brisbane that Jess desperately needed for a project at Robina Land Corp. And so she had to come to my house at Mermaid Beach and come and get these samples. But at that time, I was still running up to Brisbane every morning. So I was running late for an appointment and Jess was running late. And she came on into the house and she was very complimentary of the house and things like that. And I'm like, hi, bye, I have to go. And I think the rep who gave me the tile samples that Jess wanted had said to me that she thought I was really nice. And I was like, not very nice because I was in a hurry. And anyway, an opportunity came up at her work where they just needed a subcontractor to come on in and do some interior design work for the company that she was working for at the time, and that was Robina Land Corp.
Oh, that Jess was working for at the time.
Robina Group. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you worked for Robina Group.
Yeah, for 8 years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what, helping with all of their like projects and, because
Yeah,
obviously
so
they
I
developed
started
a lot.
in the marketing department at Robina Group, and then I saw a bit of a sort of situation where the interior design wasn't up to scratch. Some of the projects.
You could say gap. There was a gap in the market.
Maybe I don't know what to say there, but I said, "Oh, can I have a go at sort of helping out with interior design on the projects?"
Yeah.
And I got into it, and then I ended up sort of managing the interior design aspect of Robina Group.
Wow.
And all their projects, and yeah, that's how I got into interior design.
That's a lot of projects to get involved in as well.
They do a lot of projects. Yeah,
A lot of experience for you.
yeah.
And then so you two connected over some tiles.
Yeah, sort of. I sort of then got on board with Robina Land Corp as being, I guess, not an accessory to the interior design team, but just, help do the selections. And from there, Jess and I, we got along really well. And I did say to her at one stage, probably maybe after a year or so, I said to her, we should work together. We should start our own business, because I'd had an interior design business, I think, back at that stage for a good 11 years. And I was just getting sick of driving up to Brisbane every day. And I was finding that there was more and more people asking me to style their properties after I helped them with the
Design.
colours and finishes of, with the interior design of their properties. And I was thinking, oh, no, that's too hard, And then I realised that the demand was there and there wasn't that many people. So I then suggested to a girlfriend of mine, Lee, I think it was, at the time, and it just so happens Jess had been made redundant. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah. So I was made redundant and I was about to start a business at the same time.
Yeah.
Doing styling.
Okay.
And I was telling Lee, and you were talking to Lee.
Yeah.
So we were both talking to this lady that worked at Adairs about the same thing,
crazy.
because she knew Lee personally.
Yeah.
And I just knew her from going into Adairs.
The linen lady.
and we didn't know that we both knew Lee.
No, probably not. But anyway, we started the conversation, didn't we? We all got together. I think it was at Ferry Road.
Yes.
Trying to come up with a business name.
Okay.
And
Where did that name come from? Design 11
Yeah, it's got a story.
You tell the story.
Okay, so when about the same time I was leaving Rabina Group, I was seeing 11:11 all the time.
Right.
I was waking up at 11:11. I was seeing 11 everywhere, just 11. And I was like, this is so weird. This is creepy.
Sign or
Yeah, like
something,
it was
yeah.
creepy to the point where I was like, this is, I've never heard about 11:11, by the way, at that point. So I just got up in the middle of the night one night after 11:11 and started Googling at about 12 and all this stuff came up at about 11:11
Yeah.
and the phenomenon behind it and that it means you're on the right track.
No way.
Yeah,
oh
well,
my God, I
that's-
have goosebumps right now.
Yes.
Because I see that number a lot too. And
I
me and
do
Tegan
too.
talk about it as well. And I just think, oh, it's just a time and maybe you're just like noticing it. But I didn't realize there was a story behind it and it actually means something.
Yeah, if you Google it, there's a whole thing about 11:11 and people who see 11:11.
So that is where the name came from.
Well, yeah. So
Well, I see it too, and generally when I see it, we could both be packing the truck and we'd both be looking at our phones going, oh my God,
11:11.
you know,
We're going to the right house.
We're on the right track.
Yay.
it's going to be a good day today. But usually when I see it, I also see it at night too. So it'll appear twice in a day for me sometimes. And it's just ironic that, yes, we both saw that and we're both Scorpios. Well, all three of us were Scorpios, so
Yeah.
that's 11. You know, so there was all these ties and then we wanted 11 Design Co., but it was taken and then we realised how many businesses actually try to buy that business name because of
Of the
The
11:11
correlation.
phenomenon.
Wow.
So we had to settle for Design 11 Co. I think I was pushing the Co. I don't know why. Then I realised every company that came out that you seemed to
Co
have
in the end.
had a CEO.
Yeah,
on
who's the co? Well, it means you can expand, isn't it? Right?
Well,
Have a
that's
co.
what we thought too.
Yeah.
Which we definitely have done
Yeah.
over the how long have we been together?
Nearly 6 years.
6 years. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And just like context for people listening, like what you guys actually do. I think we were talking about that before, like how you haven't ever marketed before and your brand has just blown up. Like I see you guys everywhere, like every like home iconic house on the Gold Coast, like if it's on the news or it's got a record result or you guys have been involved generally. How did all of that come about? Like how did you get your foot in that many doors without marketing?
I don't think it happened overnight. It definitely once you develop a good rapport with a lot of agents, you can just get really lucky sometimes and get the most amazing houses that are getting built. But we probably would have done their previous houses maybe 1 or 2 years before, and they've, because of the success at the Gold Coast, you know, these monstrosities are getting built for these amazing amounts of money through amazing architects and so on. So I think it can also be the relationship from the client, but also the relationship with the real estate agent. So sometimes we don't always get the referrals from the real estate agent. It'll be sometimes
Generally,
from
the clients will call us direct. So I think to sort of answer your question about how we got there without marketing, I think what we saw is a gap in the styling market, which is another reason why we started the business. We knew we could do better than what was happening. I think there was only one other styling company that was doing really, really well at the time. But everyone behind that styling company, the styling was bad. Like it wasn't very good. It wasn't thought through. It wasn't stylized. It wasn't homely looking. It was staged. So our whole principle was we're not going to be stagers. We're not staging. We're styling, and we're styling a home that someone's going to want to live in.
So,
and
that's
can picture themselves.
It's a key difference, right? Whenever you go through your properties, like people say it to us, like when we stage our houses with you, it feels homely. You know, it doesn't feel like a show home. That's like a bit clinical and, you know, so that definitely shows in your work.
Yeah, I think that's our whole principle and probably why we've gotten so popular so quickly with the agents. And they, you know, I guess they see when people walk through the homes that we style, they hear what people are saying, the feedback and, you know, the conversations that people are having when they're walking through and, oh my God, how amazing, look at this, look at that. This feels so good. All those sort of little responses agents pick up on.
For sure.
Um,
And it's like helpful for the vendor to know that they feel good in their house that you're selling, because if a buyer comes through and it feels like clinical or it feels empty, there's a different feeling that you get, and that's something that you guys create. Like how important do you think like property styling is?
Oh, it's so important.
critical. Yeah, when you're selling your biggest asset, like this is your biggest asset that you'll ever have most likely in your life. Why not put everything into that when you're selling it? Like put your best foot forward all the time. You do it in your own business, but your home is something that's going to earn you way more than your business probably can in a year if you sell your home in a year.
So true.
So, yeah, why not put everything at it? Like make it amazing, make it stand out, make it stand out online, make it stand out when people walk through. Yeah, it's just common sense, really, at the end of the day. I think people, a lot of people are scared about the outlay. It's not cheap to style a property. It's not, is it?
No, it's not. It's not cheap to buy all the products either.
And it's not cheap to buy. No. We're on the other end of it going, we're buying all this shit and we're like, like looking at the bank account.
Yeah, and you get all the guys and the removalists and all the back end stuff. It's not just the furniture, it's all the time too. Like,
it's time, so much time. Those small factors will happen, or else the delivery guys will have the wrong address to go to, and you're at the other end of the Gold Coast and they're at the other end. And so, and it's timing also. Like if we're picking up from a property and then having to install, but in between we'll have to go back to the warehouse and do this and do that. It's just all this rush and chaos and
behind the scenes. I
feel like you need to make a reel about that, because we just see all the pretty beautiful property staging, but behind like there's chaos.
It's
and people pay you for that
organised
service.
chaos.
Yeah, organised chaos, and not always chaos. Sorry, I shouldn't paint the picture like that, but it's good to humanize it, right? Like
that's the reality. Is it's you're moving house every day. It's
people's worst nightmares every day. You're like, why do we do this?
And also trying to get it right. And I think like what we do is if we're not happy with the way it looks, we'll go back and we'll go back and we'll go back until we're happy. We don't just leave it and walk away, which I think back then a lot of stylists were doing as well.
Yeah.
So we do put that extra work in, and we do care. We genuinely care, because we don't want to walk out and feel like we haven't done the best job that we could have possibly done.
It's so good to have that care factor as well.
Yeah.
Where do you think that stems from? Like the fact that you do actually care? I know that's a really weird question, but so many people go into business and don't actually care. Like they're just in it for like the money, or you know what I mean?
They're not following their passion. They're not following what's true to them and what they're good at. That's all that comes down to. If you're following your passion and you're following your train, your line that is in your heart, and that you can make a difference in what you're doing, like you genuinely know you can make a difference, I think people see that.
For sure. It shows in your work as well.
Yeah.
Because you don't cut corners. Like if there's a space that's not perfect, like you'll come back, or you'll put, like a different plant or another painting or like another element to like make it feel full and homely and lived in, rather than like we were talking about before, like clinical and just staged.
Yeah.
Like you go that extra mile, which we always notice as well when you do stuff for us. So it's a great attribute to have.
Thank you.
I think the other big thing, just from having the background, both of us, with interior design, is that not every property looks the same. Probably the hardest ones is the partial styling, when we have to work around the existing furniture. And that can take a lot longer than an empty house. But I think we do find that probably in the industry, we're finding that a lot of people are sort of putting similar sort of stylists are putting similar sort of artwork and so on that we use into their projects. So we feel like we're forever having to evolve and change. But my point with the interior design aspect is that we don't just do the one style. We can adapt to all different styles. And a property that went on the market yesterday has gotten a lot of attention, where I got all these text messages, beautiful text messages last night going, oh my God, did you do the styling? It's something so different that no one's seen. But I'm like, well, we do that. Not every house is the same every day of the week. We could do a Hampton, a mod mid-century, I don't know, just a beach barn, whatever, you know. And you have to
style towards the home's essential vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't just chuck it in because that's what's on trend. You make it malleable. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
I don't know,
malleable
to the house,
to the home.
Yeah, and make it actually cohesive. So when you walk into the house, it's not like completely different furniture to the feel of the house.
like
and people do, like some stylists do that, and you walk in and you're like, oh, this is confusing.
This is confusing. Yeah.
What kind of house am I in?
Like these days, a lot of the new style coming out is that 70s look, with all the darks are back.
Yes.
So people are doing the coloured tiles again and the dark timbered kitchens and so we're now buying a lot of that sort of styling, that 70s cool
trend,
mid-century vibe. Yeah.
How do you keep up with the trends? And like you were saying, you're forever evolving the business and the products that you have. Like how do you keep up with the new trends?
I'm not too sure. I think we're just across it somehow.
Just across it.
11, guys.
Yeah.
Look at my phone.
We do research. We make sure we're always up with reading, you know, what's coming out all the time in Vogue magazine and just looking at what overseas is doing, looking at where the trends are going, look at what the developers are doing. We're just, always researching.
Yeah, you've got an eye for it, and like you were saying, it's your passion, so you actually care about it and you want to know what's happening in that industry because you're passionate about styling and being the better option for people and to stand out. So you put effort into making sure that's cohesive with your branding, it sounds like.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what's good about our industry too is the fact that we can a lot of the time we might sell off the complete furniture package, which then gives us an opportunity to buy new stock all the time because we do own all our stock.
Wait, you own all of the stock?
Pretty much.
Oh my God, I did not know that. So people that when they style it with you, the buyer can then buy the whole package
Yeah,
because it's your furniture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. And is that different to a lot of other companies? Because
Yeah,
definitely. And it is a big outlay. Like I can't believe how big that has grown, and it just has because you're non-stop buying furniture all the time. And as you grow, the more houses you are doing, so the more furniture you need and so on like that. But I guess the opportunity does come up where you sell the whole package and then you can bring in the new stock. And that's what we get really excited about because even though you might be using the same linen or similar linen to the last house, you can change it by
adding different cushions.
Cushions, headboards, bedside tables, different lamps. And in Australia itself, there's just so many different suppliers out there and we get really excited about all the
new stuff coming out.
Yeah.
We just want all the new stuff. So it works.
yeah, you're like, we're at Adair's all the time, building relationships.
Yeah. We get sick of something after a week. We just see it and
You're
we're
like,
we're done. We're like, okay, next. Bring the next stuff out.
Sell that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is all for sale. That one there, it's a bit discounted because we're bored. we want to buy new stuff. Oh my gosh, I did not know that about you guys. That everything you were using for styling you owned. So this is a random question, but I want to know the fluffy cushions. How do you make your cushions so fluffy and big and how do you do that?
That's usually the insert. We haven't done anything with that.
You have to use
the
feather inserts.
But they're like big and like lush. Every time you do it, I'm like, how do I? And then I'll go home. I'm like, mine are just underwhelming. These like
flat and lifeless.
Yeah, flat and lifeless. I need to go
Gypsea.
to Adair's and get some New inserts, apparently. Oh, man. So coming back to your business, you are doing really well. You're always booked out, but always have availability too. Not too booked out. But you've never marketed. So you use like word of mouth and relationships to build your brand. Is that all that you've done?
All we've ever done, word of mouth and relationships.
And how do you, like, what do you think the key to like maintaining those relationships is?
Doing the best job we can possibly do every time we do it. And caring.
Yeah, definitely caring.
And
That's
genuinely
a big factor.
caring about our clients, about the owners of the homes that we're styling for and the agent that we're working for. We always make sure we connect with both and that they're both happy.
Is that hard to balance that?
Can be, because a lot of owners have their own specific style. We all do.
True, yeah.
So they don't always agree with what we do. I mean, it's rare that they don't agree. They usually see it and love it and fall in love with their home again and want to keep their home.
I know, that's the most common thing.
That's a
Whenever
bit
I sell a
annoying.
house, they clean it, they stage it, they paint it. They're like, why were you selling?
Yeah. So why didn't we do this 10 years ago? So that can be difficult when someone is attached to what they have and their own things, and their own paintings on the wall can be worth a lot of money, and then we go and replace it with something else, and it can be emotional for people.
True, yeah.
So that can be hard sometimes, and we don't get it a lot, but we have had it. Yeah.
And how do you navigate that?
We do have conversations with them and just sort of try and educate them that, you know, your style is one thing, and it's not that your style is wrong or that your art is wrong. It's just that we know our personal judgment is that you should change it for the online presence and for people walking through, because people need to visualise themselves in a space when they're walking through wanting to buy a home. They don't want to visualise you living in the space.
So true.
They want to see them and their family. So if you can eliminate everyone's personal items and personal style, you get more people through the door.
That's true.
So it benefits them at the end of the day. But I think those ones that might be a little bit harder to convince are the ones that probably don't really, really want to sell.
Yeah, they're still attached to the house.
Yeah, so that can be a little bit difficult because they've called the agent's then called us, we've gone in to have a meeting with them, and you can just feel that you know, you walk around the house and this would be partial styling, and they'd say, oh, you know, let us know, can we change what we need to change and adjust and declutter and so on. And so you're like, yeah, okay, well, we go room by room, and you're like, well, we might get rid of that chair and replace it with that chair if that's okay. And you can see in their face, they're like, really? What's wrong with the chair? And you're like, nothing's wrong with the chair. It's just that
This is a better chair.
So you just have to, and I actually think that comes back from, you know, experience, customer service. We're all about that. So it's just, it's just having that understanding of the attachment that people have to the biggest asset that they've got, and making sure that you're going to make like just do a good job, and that they have a really good outcome and everything's a success story, and you just want to be part of that.
Yeah, and I think if you're coming from a genuine place, people know it. They don't just think, oh, like you just want to take my money and style my property.
Yeah.
If they can see that you're genuine about it, they generally get it.
Yeah, because the recommendations you're making is coming from like a good place, and you're still like being, you know, sensitive to what they have in their home. And what do you reckon the biggest challenge has been for you guys, like in business?
Where do you
Challenge.
start with that
We used
one?
to fight a lot.
Did you? Did you? That's funny.
You know what really used to annoy me about Jess?
Yeah.
Oh my
Is that
God.
I would put a vase down, and she would either replace the vase or move the vase just slightly, and so I'd go, I know, I'm just as good as you, and I'd move the vase back. So I felt, but Jess definitely did have more styling experience than me. So, you know, at the end I just sort of I think after the first couple of projects, I just let it go, and I thought, this is ridiculous. Why are we fighting over the movement of a vase? It probably feels more like a marriage. I think we know each other inside and out. We probably feel the same a lot of the time. When we don't always have we very rarely have an opportunity where it's the two of us seeing the property before styling. It's usually one or the other. So one goes in really unknown as to what the space is going to be like, and you're sort of relying on the other one to get the packing of the truck correct, and, you know, the spatial planning of the furniture and how it's going to fit and so on. And so that can be one aspect of the business that can go quite wrong sometimes, is that you underestimate the size of something where you then have to send the truck back to the warehouse to pick up either a different sofa or whatever, like, you know. So those things, you do rely on the other person, your other partner, to get that right. And I think it's just having the confidence in both of us to know that we're going to do a good job, and
trusting ourselves.
Yeah, that's a big thing in like partnerships, right? Because you have to like trust your opinion. If you're just jumping on for the ride and rocking up thinking, oh God, I hope she packed all the right stuff, and like, don't move my vase again. Like, Jesus Christ.
Correct.
Well,
I think we're past that point.
I think, you know, we've had our ups and downs starting the business. Of course you do when you start a business with a partner, and a partnership can be difficult to navigate. But one thing we do is we do trust ourselves professionally. We trust each other on a professional level.
Yeah. I would like to think personal too.
And personally.
She was like, aren't we friends?
But yeah, it's good to have that trust where I know she can go away on holidays. Sonya could go away and she knows I've got it. And I can go away and I know she's got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no qualms there, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a big thing, is trust in any business.
Yeah.
Especially a partnership when you're 50-50 in something, and if you do have to go away, like having that trust. Is there any other things like as a partnership that you've had to navigate together that you didn't think would be an issue when you first joined Arm?
I think just the partnership, the personality differences, because we didn't really know each other that well when we started.
No, well, we didn't, and also we're in sort of different stages, you know, with the kids' ages. Not we've got one child. We've got two children each, but Jess's daughter is similar age to my younger son. So, you know, there was things like that I don't know. There was a lot of different dynamics initially when we first started out to where we both were with kids, family life, and so on.
So you can see why a lot of businesses don't work when it's a partnership, and you hear all these horror stories about when people in partnerships, it blows up after 6 months or a year, or 3 years is usually the max that a business lasts. A new business, that is. But I think we should pat ourselves on the back. We got through navigated a lot with each other, and we really understand each other now. And I think we just know each other now. It's like Sonya said, it's a marriage now. And it's
you could say anything to each other, we just brush it off.
We brush it off.
Whereas I probably might have cried, or she might have cried.
At the start, when you're like learning each other, you're like, "Whoa, you're so mean," and now you're like, "Oh, fuck off."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Or I could be talking to Jess, and she's like, "There's nothing." She doesn't even hear me. I'm like, "Can you hear what I'm saying?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Shit." You need to listen
we're at
to
that
someone
level.
else.
I'll be like focused, and she's like looking at me going, I know she's not listening to me.
But at least you know those boundaries with each other now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also because the company is successful and we have done really well, and, you know, I probably feel like without all the advertising and so on, we've managed to make it happen. But I really feel that probably in the last 1.5 to 2 years, that's where it's really grown. And to start getting a name for yourself, to start being the preferred stylist on the list of the real estate agencies and so on, that's a real nod to us. And I think, you know, just taking all the positives and outweigh all the negatives, I guess, at the end of the day. And I think that's where you have the determination to keep on succeeding and
Just to focus on those positives.
And to do the best you can do for each other too. Because, you know, it feels like a marriage. I don't want us to fail and for Jess to walk away and be disappointed that the business didn't work. You know, I feel like that's on my shoulders too.
Yeah. So you both have like so much investment, like emotionally as well, that you want it to work out and
Yeah.
you don't want to break up.
Yeah. Well,
You don't want to fail too. Like it's, I think that might be a Scorpio
trait for sure. Yep.
Yeah, you're both very driven women. Where do you think that comes from?
We both come from families of business owners. I've probably seen our parents own businesses and we probably don't like to work for people. And not that we don't like to work for people, it's just that when you have your own strong direction and sense of self, I think it's really hard to take direction sometimes.
From other people, yeah. Well, that's probably why you work well together, because you're both like that and you've had the same upbringing, which is cohesive in business. Because it's funny, like I had a guest on a few weeks ago and they'd had completely different upbringings, but the same outcome of how driven they were. Like one had, you know, a single parent that was trying to raise them and the other one had a really driven business family, but they both end up being very driven and don't want to fail because of different reasons. So I always like to figure out, what went on before you got into business to give you those attributes. So, business families, hey?
Yeah, I think.
Maybe, and just we are probably, you're right, we're both quite driven. But where that comes from?
I think it's your upbringing, because I'm a twin and I've got two.
You're a twin.
Yeah, and I've got two younger brothers and all of us have our own businesses. And I think Jess is
my brother has his own business too. Yeah.
So I think it's just instilled in you. Not everyone can have their own business. Like I don't think my husband would ever want to have his own business.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
No.
Definitely not.
So I think there's a different make and model of person that can definitely have their own business.
It's a certain type of brain for sure.
Yeah. What do you think those key attributes are, like compared to your hubby that you don't think would have his own business?
I'm not too sure why he says that, but it's I think it might come down to more of a risk. I think when you're married and you've got children, you know, he probably never thought that he should go into business if I'm in business, because what if we both fail? Whereas I don't think failure has ever been instilled in me. I've made sure that was never going to happen. And I think that personally for me probably comes from my upbringing.
In what way?
Just seeing their family business grow, you know, and see their determination to make things work and so on. And it's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
That's an amazing attitude to have, but to watch that as like from your childhood and to adapt that mentality for your life and that I'm not going to fail, that is such a like powerful affirmation to have in your mind instilled, because so many people have that fear of like failure, or they doubt themselves, or they don't try because they don't want to fail. But the fact you don't even think you will is amazing, and it's obviously what's helped you in business, you know.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same, Jess?
Yeah, I think I've always I've just always had that same mindset. I won't fail.
It's a very good mantra.
Yeah.
Because most people's self-talk is not that, you know. And I love learning about people in business, because I'm like, what do you say to yourself every day? And having that, like, I won't fail and I want to give the best experience to people is actually so unique, but it shows in your business, and that's why you did well. And that whole like 11-11 correlation, even though it sounds like woo-woo to some people, it's because you're like on the right path and like you're in the zone as such with everything.
Yeah, there is a lot to be said for that, and I probably don't know enough about it. But yeah, I think that whole mindset is a huge thing. It's huge. If you go into life and you're down on yourself and you're negative about yourself and you don't trust yourself, you're not gonna do anything.
So true.
With your life.
But it's interesting
that you're meant to do.
Yeah, you've already got it. is there anything that you do to like maintain that? Like if you're having like a bad day, let's say you get, you know, something bad happens with the truck or something. How do you recoup? Like what helps you stay centered and believing?
Well, I would like to say having Fridays off has been a really great thing. It doesn't always happen, but we agreed to. When did we start doing that?
We started having Fridays off probably 2 months ago.
No, it's been longer than
Oh,
that.
has it? It feels like 2 months.
No, I think
2
we
years.
came. I think we came back from the Christmas holidays, and we have a decent break there. But then we decided, hey, we have our own business. We work so hard. Like there could be nights where you're getting home at anywhere between 6:30 and 9 o'clock at night, and the clients eating dinner around you while we're still upstairs making beds. You can have those awkward moments, but anyway. I also feel just from our personalities that the clients don't mind that, because you've already developed a really nice rapport even before you get there. Like you're hugging them before you even do the job, which is really quite nice. But back to your question, I think Jess does beach walks every morning. I walk my 2 staffies every morning. So just, you know, having that bit of exercise to get a clear mind. It's good to keep it on track.
Yeah, staying grounded. No, it's just that confidence. Goes back to that confidence again. You know, when things get a little bit shaky and you do start to question something, it's just like pulling yourself back constantly and going, no, we've got this. Like it's
That
a mindset.
self-belief, yeah.
It's that self-belief mindset. Just don't. Yeah, like yesterday, I was full of anxiety all day. The whole day I had anxiety. And I was
How come?
I don't know. It just came
had
from.
it.
Yeah, I was like, I kept telling Sonya, I've got this horrendous anxiety.
Maybe about
and-
the podcast.
No, I think I had that. I had that today, I think.
And it's just, and I did used to suffer from anxiety. I haven't sort of done so much in the last few years, but yeah, it does come back. That kind of self-doubt comes back, and that worry.
Yes, I feel that too. And it doesn't go away, but it's how you manage it, right?
Yeah. I think it's just that flick of the brain. You've just got to.
Recognizing that it's there, identifying it and being like, hang on, I'm actually okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
There's
That's
no
that feeling
tigers.
is there, but the day's still moving. I'm still alive. I've still got my job. We're still working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you connect to some positive like thoughts and then get back in the lane.
Yeah. It's really simple. I think, yeah.
Well, I think if Jess is feeling like that, this is where the whole marriage sort of word comes into it, is that, you know, if I was feeling like that on a weekend, I'd probably talk to my husband. If Jess is feeling like that, she'd talk to me, and then vice versa. And I think that's where we both give each other support and lift each other up. And we're a team. We're a team. So, you know, she said something to me before this job yesterday, and I'm like, don't doubt yourself. Like, we're probably the best in the business. We'll be fine. And she's like, I don't know why I have it. I'm like, don't worry about it. Just get past it. It's fine. You know, you've got all the right people around you to get the job done.
Yeah, look at the facts before you get anxious about something, like what's actually happening, and assess it properly. But that like partnership is so key, I think, in business, because a lot of people go out on their own, and if you have a bad day, it's pretty hard to pull yourself back. But if you've got someone there accountable and that understands you and that you can help like lift them up and make their day better and remind them of the good things, that sounds like it's been very helpful in your business. Is that right in saying that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's been integral to have that partnership, because there are days where we're not feeling 100%. And when Sonia's not feeling 100%, like, I'm like going, it's going to be okay. Like,
Exactly.
like, and it's so nice to have that. I don't think I could do this on my own. I don't think I could do what we do on my own. So yeah, it's so nice to have each other to get through the days, because they can be stressful.
Oh, it can be very stressful. I think as you grow, it gets even more stressful because you've got more people to manage.
More expectations as well.
Well, it's just things will come about, like that situation that we're going to cut out before. That things will come about where it's just unexpected, and you just have to deal with the unexpected. So, you just have to be over it. You have to coordinate these things beforehand. The delivery people that we have, it's a fantastic team of guys. They're very polite. You can explain. They feel like
family.
Yeah, they do, because they also care about us. They care about, and they love it. They're now starting to do their own little
have their own say in the business.
Yeah, I know that. And we have them sometimes making the bed when we really push for time. But
teaching them their life skills.
Oh, yeah. Well, say, what do you think about this chair being here? Oh, I think it could go more to the left. And you're like, but you guys are becoming too good. We're teaching you too many skills. But yeah, anyway, my point is that what was it? What were you talking about?
I lost it too.
Happens a lot.
But you'd get that in real estate too, Gypsy. I guess the unknown can pop up
Always.
all the time. When humans are involved and their biggest asset is involved, it's going to be an emotional journey.
It's always emotional.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I always say, like with one of the new guys in our team, like the biggest part about our job in real estate is like not property or real estate, it's like human and emotion and being able to connect with people and really like be there for them through that journey, because there's a lot of like ups and downs when you're selling a house, and you have to be that soundboard that is like not biased but like empathetic and like strong, because you don't want to fall apart for them either. Like you're really a soundboard for them for a long time, and like you said, it's their biggest asset. So like I'm kind of like you, I care so much. Like that's so important to me that I get you the best price and I outwork anybody in the industry because, well, one, I'm like young and I'm a girl, so there's not many of us.
and you're hot.
And I'm, yeah. Wouldn't say hot, but okay, I'll take the compliment.
Take the compliment.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. But it makes you try harder, because I mean, there's so much competition, and I guess you guys know that now. There's probably more people trickling into your field, but
Definitely.
if you just fucking put the work in and outwork people and actually care and deliver a good service, you'll always do well in business.
Yeah, look, definitely I feel that, and also there is a lot of competition, and I think that can help you really strive to be the best.
It can push you.
It's better,
even
yeah.
more when the new up and comings are coming behind us, because we're not spring chickens. And there's girls coming up behind us, so we've got to stay relevant.
Yeah, and step it up. Yeah, I actually like that competitive part of the industry, because if there's someone that's behind your tail, like you just upskill and get better, and it gives you that incentive to grow. Because if you're the best always, you'll just stay. It's like they're boring.
That's exactly right.
But we also work with them too. Like we get calls from them, and we, some of the girls ask us for advice in the other styling companies.
That's
and
nice.
We're always happy to sort of help and give advice and, give the work to them that we can't do, and they give work to us that they can't do. And it's nice to work with the industry, not against them.
Having that like long-term mindset, right? Like you're thinking about the bigger picture. I think it's the same with agents. Like I'm like nice to all of the agents, because like you never know what opportunity will come up where you might need to work together on something, or you have a mutual client, or things like you just don't know. Like
you don't. And the Gold Coast is small. Everyone talks.
Small.
Everyone knows everyone in some way. Staying connected, you're doing the right thing. Like be nice to the agents, stay connected to them, like share each other's knowledge. I think the agents that don't do that, it can get nasty.
And it's like, it's just a small mindset. Like if you think like, I'm not going to talk to that agent because they're my competition, well, that's a bit dumb,
Well, it doesn't
Why not
make
like
sense.
empower each other and talk to each other and like know that, okay, you might go up against each other for a listing, but that's cool. But, in the future you might have a buyer, they might have a listing, or vice versa, and you can work together to help your client, which is like the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
help each other. Yeah.
And if there is, I think you learn in life too, if there's someone that you admire and think that are better than you, well, don't not be friends with them. Be friends with them.
Learn from them.
Learn from them, and it's all about that experience, I think, too, is like we've got admirers. Jess and I obviously like
Secret ones?
No,
We've got many admirers.
no, not that
We're
sort
hot.
of advice. No, I mean we admire other stylists internationally. So yeah, no, it's not that sort of admiring.
We don't have
Like,
admirers.
Sonya, what do you mean?
But I think they can make us grow. They can challenge us because we're always wanting to be a little bit different. And so we probably look
Overseas.
not so much here.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah,
so that's
we're
where you
all
get a
our-
lot of your inspiration
All
from.
our inspirations from overseas.
Yeah.
And you connect with them, like you talk to people, or you just
No,
No.
we
Follow
just
them.
stalk them.
oh yeah, you really admire them.
You
We don't have to
secretly
talk to
stalk
them.
them and watch them.
They don't know.
Watch every move they make.
But I think that's a good way to get inspiration. I do the same. Like, I don't really look at any like agents on the coast and follow their style. I look at people like in the States and like different
Yeah.
countries. I'm like, wow, that's such a cool video that they made. Like, I like that trend, or and then your ceiling is a bit higher because it's not what's around you that you're seeing and competing with. You're like, actually, my ceiling's higher. It's overseas. It's outside. This is what they're doing. I'm going to keep up with them. Love that.
Yeah. Well, I think you just I think you realise, and like Jess said, we're not spring chickens. You do realise that you have to be different. You have to be a bit quirky. You have to be
Edgy.
you have to be really up to date with everything. And I think we do push the boundaries. Like I think when Jess went away to Bali recently, we were doing a house down at Byron, and I had to buy all these beautiful homewares, and I think she was quite jealous when she saw these homewares the other day. She's like, "Where'd you get this from? Oh my God, it's beautiful!" Oh, and I'm like, I know, to have that opportunity to go and buy, just beautiful pieces that aren't yours, that are going to be sold and might eventually be sold off the house. It makes you really, you get a bit of a buzz from it, and you're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. The job that we have, even though it can be really quite stressful, we're really good at it. And here we get to
Do it every day.
go to like, boutique sort of showrooms and so on, and have a look around and purchase what we want to purchase. We've got no one telling us this is the budget.
That's
sometimes we
Yeah.
Sometimes Jess tells you off.
I know, it's probably more the other way around.
Yeah, correct.
She's always telling me off for spending.
That would be hard to manage as well, because if
Yeah.
you're in the nice boutique and you see all the new things.
I'm one to lift up something and look at the price. I don't think Jess has ever done that. She's like, I just want this, I want this, I want this.
We need it.
But that's cool for your clients, because it shows that you're just actually offering the best that you can. You're not like working to a budget to get them a cheap item.
Yeah, and you probably nailed it
Sonya.
there. That's
Sorry.
something, that is definitely something we do. We do that. Like, we will spend our last dollar to make a house look amazing.
Oh my gosh. I actually can't believe I didn't know that. That it was
Yeah.
it's all your stuff and you buy it all and you pick it all, and
Yeah. Yeah, hand-picked.
no wonder. Yeah.
We have 3 warehouses at Mermaid
Yeah.
Waters, and I'd hate to think if everything came back in, because I don't think it's going to fit.
Definitely would not fit. It has to keep being used and sold.
This is something I really love chatting with you guys. I think it's been cool to learn more about your business, and I know the listeners will love that too. But can you give like a couple of key tips for people that are maybe trying to do it themselves, or would you recommend to not do it at all yourselves? Like, is there certain parts of people's homes that you're like, oh, if you just did this, it would really enhance it, like for people that maybe don't want to stage their whole property?
Yeah, definitely. And we do advise some people not to style if they've got all the right things, and we just give them a little bit of advice sometimes. Like, we will never go in and say you have to style. If we know that they can make this happen without it, and they've got beautiful furniture and beautiful art, then we'll be like, look, all you need to do is move that there, and you've got it. But the advice I would give to people who don't want to style and need to sort their homes out, get all your personal belongings out, your personal photos out. Make sure your furniture fits the rooms well, and everything's what's the word I'm looking for?
In proportion.
Proportioned. Because, if you've got a big room and small furniture, that looks ridiculous. And the opposite, ridiculous, big furniture in a small room.
Yeah.
But, the main thing would be take your all your personal stuff out.
Yeah.
And in your showers, take all that crap out of your showers.
We need to invent something cool in there that looks better because those bottles are wild.
Yeah, just one or two bottles.
On top of the shelf.
Or just so many, or on the floor. And I've had houses before and there's like hundreds of bottles in there. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, hide all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have those opportunities where we have to clean up for the client because they've forgotten about the showers and things like that. You're picking up going, ooh,
Love it. Love doing that.
Just decluttering anything really expensive, put your valuables away,
Unless it looks nice.
Yeah.
Anything that's tired looking, like cushions or anything like that. Cushions are a good way to revamp.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to the cushions. Where do we get them? Where would you recommend?
Oh, you get them from everywhere. We get ours a lot from...
We use a lot of Pony Rider.
Okay.
And a lot of Edie.
And Bonnie and Neil.
Bonnie and Neil. They're probably the three main companies we use.
Okay. Where do you get them from?
Online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can go to St. Bart's or Kira and Kira. So
Kira and Kira
they
are
seem
great.
to be our favourite places
They're our
where we spend a lot of money.
Yep. The girls in Kira, they sell amazing things. Yeah, St. Bart's. Who else on the Gold Coast?
Well, we just started going to James Rui.
James Rui's good.
Yeah. Maison and Maison.
Yep, Maison and Maison are good. So there's a lot of good little boutique-y styling places that people can go themselves and select a few cushions. And the girls that work in these stores are amazing. They've got great knowledge.
That's important too in a shop like that. You want someone that can help you.
Yeah. And usually we're going to those places because something hasn't come back, because usually we buy in advance online. But we'll have to go into those places if we don't have the right stock. So it's just making sure that, we get the tick at the end of the day and the client's happy with everything that we've put in.
Good tips. I love that.
Yeah.
And I always like to finish the podcast with a couple of quotes, or I guess like something that's serving you at the moment in business, or like a mantra or a phrase that you use. I think you've kind of already given a couple, but just for the listeners out there that might be, struggling or having a hard day, what's something that's helped you in business, or like a key phrase or quote?
Yes. So a mantra that we would use.
I like that. Though, trust yourself.
Be kind to yourself too, and definitely don't hold on to those issues or something that made you feel, I don't know, anything that went wrong the day before or that day. Move on, get past it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't move on, you won't be your best self.
That's exactly right. It's all about being able to move on and let go of anything negative someone has said to you, or any train of thought that's not doing you justice.
Yeah, don't stay on that feeling.
No.
Never stay on that feeling. Just let it go and then go, right, I've got this. I trust myself. I know what I'm doing. Stay positive.
You
stay
guys
focused.
Are very impressive. Thank you. Well, thanks for being a part of this. It took us a while to get you here. So I'm glad I pushed and hustled and followed up.
I would have been in trouble with my daughter if I didn't come here today.
Oh, she's a sweetie. Biggest supporter.
Yeah.
But no, it's been really fun. Thank you guys for taking the time to be on here.
Thank you, amazing Gypsy.
Yeah. We look forward to keep on working with you on the various projects that you have going on, like
Thank
the properties.
You. Yeah, definitely. Well, now you'll be getting a big plug, so. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gypsy.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.